President Macron has said there's no other option but to restore order in the French Pacific territory of New Caledonia, which is under a state of emergency after the worst civil disturbances in 40 years. Speaking in the capital, Nouméa, Mr. Macron said he recognised the suffering of many families. He said additional security forces would remain in the territory for as long as necessary. Let's go live now to our Sydney correspondent, Katie Watson. And Katie, at this stage, has President Macron's visit calmed tensions enough, as some were fearing a civil war over these proposed voting changes?
Well, I think this visit by Macron is a very difficult, risky visit even, because the divide in the country is such that we've seen, obviously, the unrest ever since the beginning of last week. Now, he said as he arrived that this was about bringing peace and security to the country. It's also about giving support to a country that's been hard hit economically in the past few years. But the most delicate conversation, of course, will come when it comes to politics and the future of New Caledonia. And I think that's going to be the hardest challenge for him as he meets elected representatives. It's not clear whether any representatives from the Kanak community, which is about 40% of the population of New Caledonia, whether they're prepared to meet. But certainly the intention is to try and bring the country together. But I think it's going to be a tough challenge, certainly, with just such a fleeting visit by the president.
A fleeting visit, but President Macron's visit to New Caledonia kind of underlines, doesn't it, the increasing security significance for France due to its position and the fact that it offers a valuable commodity in nickel too.
So New Caledonia is, I think, number 3 in terms of nickel production in the world. I think speaking to people, since the unrest started just over a week ago, I think most people feel that this was something that France should have seen coming. Now, it was 1998, the Nouméa Accord, which promised more representation for the Kanak population. It's about 40% native and indigenous Kanak population, about 25-30% of the French population. And this accord, what's happened with last week when the French lawmakers wanted to push through this plan for French people who've lived on the island for more than a decade to be able to vote in national elections, in local elections, the concern was that would dilute the influence of indigenous population in New Caledonia. So, but this was, has been coming for the last few years. There have been referendums as part of the accord, 3 referendums. The last referendum took place post-pandemic, or rather within the pandemic, and the independent side, they boycotted the referendum. So certainly there's a lot of tension over what the intentions of France are, the desire perhaps to move away from being a French overseas territory on the one side. So this is, these are all the conversations that Macron's going to have to try and, to take on board, of course, in a much bigger environment of obviously competing rivalries, if you like, within the Pacific.